Okay, so let's get right into it. The Department of Justice has just dropped the final, and I mean final, batch of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. And when they say it's a massive release, they are not kidding.
We are talking about 3 million pages of files. And that's not all. This dump also came with over 2,000 videos and almost 200,000 images. This is it. This is everything the government plans to release on the matter.
You know, with all of this information suddenly hitting the public, the one big question everyone is asking is, what did we actually find out from all this? So today, we're going to cut through all the noise and get straight to the heart of what these new files really tell us about Epstein, his network, and the powerful people caught in his web.
So let's start with the man at the center of it all, Epstein himself. As you read through his private emails and watch these newly released interviews, you start to see this really disturbing psychological profile take shape.
I mean, the sheer audacity here is just something else. In this never-before-seen interview, he gets asked this incredibly blunt question. Now, most people would get defensive, right? But he just smirks and quotes a movie line. It just shows this complete lack of fear or stress or any kind of normal human reaction.
And here's the thing, that weirdly detached attitude pops up again and again and again throughout his private communications. It really suggests a mind that just didn't operate with the same sense of consequence or morality as, the rest of us. And that mind was connected to an absolutely stunning number of powerful people.
And that powerful network? Well, that brings us right to some of the biggest American names mentioned in these files. The allegations here are incredibly serious. And frankly, the details are pretty wild.
So, Donald Trump's name comes up over 5,000 times. Now, it is really important to note that since he was president, his name was in the news constantly, and Epstein would reference those articles in emails, so the vast majority of these mentions have nothing to do with any wrongdoing. However,
there is one document that's raising a lot of eyebrows. It's basically a summary of allegations that were sent to an FBI tip line back in 2020. And the claims are severe. We're talking about an alleged assault on a minor, these so-called calendar girls parties, and even a victim saying Ghislaine Maxwell presented her to Trump.
But here is the absolutely essential context you need to have. In those very same documents, the FBI makes it clear that none, not one, of these tip line allegations could be substantiated. The Department of Justice even added that a lot of these claims came in right before the 2020 election, and if they had been credible, they almost certainly would have been used against him already.
Okay, next up, Elon Musk. So publicly, Musk has always said he turned down invitations to Epstein's island. But these files, well, they seem to tell a very different story. Alleged emails from 2012 appear to show him really eager to visit, asking about the wildest party on the island. In another email, Epstein's assistant even mentioned sending him copies of 3 girls' passports. For his part, Musk says he was just naive at first and, in the end, decided to work on rockets and cars instead.
Now, the material on Bill Gates is maybe the strangest thing in this entire document dump. We're talking about 2 emails that Epstein wrote to himself. It's bizarre. They look like drafts he was writing for someone else, demanding severance pay and a $100 million contract from Gates. And then there's this bombshell allegation that this person knew Gates had gotten STDs from Russian girls and needed antibiotics for his then-wife. I mean, it reads exactly like a blackmail draft.
As you can imagine, the response from Bill Gates' team was swift, and it was firm. His spokesperson told the BBC that the claims are, quote, absolutely absurd and completely false, and that they're coming from a proven disgruntled liar. All right, let's zoom out a bit, because these files strongly suggest this whole operation wasn't just an American thing. This web was global, with some shocking connections to royalty and even some pretty wild theories about international espionage. So, to understand this next part, you really need to know what a honey trap is. It's an old spy tactic where sex is used to blackmail a target or get leverage over them. And some intelligence sources are now theorizing that Epstein's entire network was just one giant honey trap.
Yeah, according to reports that cite intelligence sources, Epstein's whole operation might have been a massive honey trap working for Russia and maybe even Israel. The theory goes that it was actually Ghislaine Maxwell's father, the infamous Robert Maxwell, who first pulled Epstein into the world of espionage. Now, if that's true, it completely reframes everything. This wasn't just about one man's sick gratification. It could have been a tool of state-sponsored blackmail. And speaking of international connections, let's talk about Prince Andrew. These new files include some pretty unsettling photos of him kneeling over a young woman who's lying on the floor. Things have gotten so serious that even the UK's Prime Minister has publicly said Andrew should probably go to the US and testify. And through it all, Prince Andrew continues to deny everything.
And it wasn't just the British royals. This web stretches all the way to Scandinavia. You've got Norway's crown princess, who admitted she had contact with Epstein and expressed regret for her poor judgment. Sweden's Princess Sophia was named in an email from before she was royal, and even the new King of Denmark, Frederick, was listed as a potential dinner guest, though the Danish royal house flatly denies they ever met.
Okay, we've covered the powerful and the political. Now let's get into the truly bizarre stuff. This is going to be a rapid-fire round of the most unexpected names and just plain weirdest claims to pop up in these 3 million pages.
First up, the mother of film director Mahtab Mahdavi. She was mentioned one single time for attending an after-party. That's it. And that one mention was enough to spark this viral conspiracy theory that Epstein was secretly Mojgavi's biological father, even though Mojgavi was 18 years old when they supposedly met.
Yes, you heard that right. Hitler. He is in the Epstein files. In an email to a member of the Rothschild family, Epstein makes this completely bizarre claim that his family, along with the Rothschilds, once funded a shelter in Vienna where a young Adolf Hitler used to live.
The files also lay out this strange plan to order 30 DNA test kits from 23andMe. And why? Well, apparently it was to host some kind of event to find smart people, based on this truly awful idea that the more Jewish a person was, the smarter they were.
The former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, also makes a cameo. An email suggests Epstein was planning a small dinner for him in London and wanted to invite a Russian model to, quote, add some real glamour to the event.
And finally, maybe the most surreal detail of all, Epstein's Xbox account was permanently banned back in 2013. The reason? For severe, repeated, and excessive harassment of other players. It just makes you wonder, how did Xbox catch this guy before the government did? All these little details just paint this picture of a world that was just governed by ego, absurdity, and a total disconnect from reality.
So, after 3 million pages, thousands of videos, and just countless disturbing revelations, the one big question we're all left with is, what happens now? With everything finally out in the open, will there be any real consequences for anyone else involved? Or is this all just gonna fade away? That right there is the question that hangs over all of this.